Hello everyone and happy Australia Day. I'm Emily Anderson.
And I'm Polly Hazelton, and we're coming to you from Durra Glen today. In the spirit of reconciliation, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout all of Australia and their connections to land, sea and community.
Today, we would like to pay respect to the elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Australia Day is a national public holiday that is celebrated on today, the 26th of January each year. It's a day where we recognise the Australians who make up our dynamic and multicultural nation. We celebrate our First Nations people who have called this land home for over 65,000 years. We celebrate those who have been here for many generations, and we celebrate those who have come across the seas to call Australia home.
On Australia Day, we acknowledge that we have a past and present of hurt and mourning. It's a day where many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders remember the invasion of their land. It's a time to reflect on and learn about the history, cultures and traditions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as we move forward together as a nation.
So as our nation celebrates and mourns, we recognise that our country is made up of a diverse story that's similarly filled with both highs and lows. We are an ever-changing nation, one that must reckon with the past and pursue a future of justice, belonging and respect.
And so, this Australia Day, let us celebrate the land we call home. We're all part of the story.
For me to be sitting here, it's breathtaking. And healing, that's part of Daddy. You've got to slow down and listen. You've got to feel it. And you'd have a better understanding and open heart. The spirit. Daddy gives us the opportunity to be able to walk together in peace.
We're all part of the story. Australia Day.
Well, welcome to MyCommunity Voices Australia Day celebration. Whether you're joining us today at a barbecue,
A picnic,
lounging on the couch,
or in isolation, we're so happy that you're with us today. So why don't you kick back and relax as you watch our exclusive program.
we'd like to begin by acknowledging and thanking the National Australia Day Council for their support of this program today. They've done an incredible job creating this Australia Day campaign nationwide, and it's great to work with an organisation so focused on celebrating diversity.
That's right. Every year Australia Day has a theme. This year it's Reflect, Respect and Celebrate. We're all part of the story. And so in light of today's theme, today's program is all about the people that make up Australia. We've got 3 segments prepared based on the theme words.
Reflect, respect and celebrate. Enjoy.
The story of Australia
is the story of me.
It's the story of you.
It's a story of we.
In parts, it is painful.
In parts, it is raw.
In others, it's beautiful.
Inspiring, great awe.
It tells of many people from far and away.
And those who've been here
since the beginning of time.
It brings us together
And tears us apart.
We all have our views.
So where do we start?
By listening to each other.
And sharing our part.
we're all part of the story. Australia Day.
What I love most about this theme is that it recognises the difficulties of people's experiences in Australia. As we reflect, we remember times of struggle, inequality, injustice, as well as times of goodness and fairness. As I reflect on my own Australian story, I'm thankful to live in a country blessed with incredible nature and cities. I've had many opportunities to visit sites of sacredness, splendour and majesty, and I'm thankful that as an Australian I am free to go wherever I want to go. We're going to hear the story of some typical Australians now, and each of these Aussies was asked to reflect on what they appreciate about Australia. And so as you watch, why don't you also reflect on what it is to be Australian?
I think it's 1975 I arrived to Australia, and at that time it was really very difficult for me. You know, I landed in the country in here, and I sort of find myself in a totally different world. So I had no language to start with. I had all what I have with me is my pair of scissors. So I started to look around, and I found it really difficult. Come to think of it, I have no choice: either swim back and die, or stay in here and fight and survive. So this is my choice, and this is exactly what I did. I mean, you know, it's not what the country do for you; it's what you do for the country. This is the way I see it. You know, I was so happy to get out from Lebanon and the war, what's happening in Lebanon. Australia opened their arms, and they have me there, and they give me a chance, you know, like any other young people, to come to the country, you know, to prove themselves and to work hard and to achieve and to make their dreams come through. You know, this is the country of opportunities. You know, like when you come here to work, and at the same time you gotta be able to enjoy the journey. You know, not just work. Celebrating Australia, it's a big day for me. I don't know if I celebrate my time arriving to Australia. It's not all about having barbecue and having celebration and eating, you know, sausages and pies and having a really typical sort of day. My celebration is success, you know. My celebration is what I did in the past. My celebration is my achievement in this country. So I really love this country, and I live, and this country is heaven comparing to the world. And I think that's why every young person wants to come in here to make something for for their life. And I always say, thank you for Australia, and thank you for having us in here. And it's a great time for the Australian too. And we're all celebrating today as one nation is Australia.
I was born in Palestine back in 1945. I came to Australia in 1970. I worked in factories as a process worker because I could not speak English. Then I went to the college to study English language. I did. And then when I became competent for some degree in English language, I went to University of New South Wales. I did postgraduate diploma in librarianship, and then I was working as librarian. At the same time, I used to write for Arabic newspaper. As volunteer, every week I supplied them with one article. And when I retired from my job as librarian after 30 years of working, I turned to journalism in Arabic language in Australia. I worked for An-Nahar, for the Telegraph, a newspaper, and my area was editor of Australian Affairs at Telegraph newspaper.
I came to Australia when I was about 9 years old, back in 1999. I didn't speak any English as well, so it took me a very long time to feel comfortable living in Australia. And that only started when I started to make more friends, and that's when I started to pick up the language. After graduating from university, I did work for a private company, but I just didn't feel that I was offering something to society, because just to me it felt like I was working for myself, working for the company, but not really working for the clients. So I quit my job. I applied to become a teacher because I thought this is one area where I can make a difference to someone's life, and I can be someone that can motivate others to be a better version of themselves. With my family and my friends, I think for us, Australian Day is a day where we get together. We might not always think about the meaning of the day, but it is certainly a day where we do get together and do celebrate what we have. and we are very grateful that we do have the same amount of freedom and have the same opportunity with every other person in Australia to achieve our dreams and our aspirations, and we are very thankful for that, and it is a day for us to remember that, and we usually remember that by having a barbie.
Wow, what incredible stories of hard work and resilience. I love that about our country. We are hard workers and resilient. Now, as you know, the next theme word is respect. Did you know that more than 75% of Australians identify themselves with an ancestry other than Australian as their first response? This tells us that we are an extremely multicultural nation with people of all different ethnicities, ages, backgrounds and religions. So, being a diverse nation means we need to respect others and their differences. It's incredible to see the work of charity organisations and volunteers highlighting and demonstrating respect to our people. So right now, you're about to meet 3 Australians who've done just that.
Australia Day is not about celebrating, but more about giving back to the community and sharing what we have with one another. My father came to Australia as a teenager and started his family here. Growing up as a child, we lived opposite a nursing home. My brother and I would normally sit in front of our unit after school and watch the elderly. Sometimes they would struggle to carry their groceries or walk up the stairs. So my brother and I would run across the road to help them. We enjoyed helping them. We enjoyed putting a smile on their face. It was always rewarding to know that we've helped someone that was in need and that was vulnerable. All my life, I've worked in office jobs. Yes, I enjoyed my job, but there was something missing, and I realised what was missing was the drive that I have to actually help people and give back to our community. While I was on my social media, several times I had come across a non-profit charity organisation called To Turkey With Love. The videos and pictures that I had seen, I was heartbroken, and I knew that I needed to help them and be a part of this charity. They had also previously done homeless runs and give hot food, blankets, meals and essentials to our homeless community. Also, they do back to school packages. They put together a backpack with stationery for our children that are from disadvantaged families. So I've approached them and asked them if they would take me on as a volunteer, and they did, and I was very, very honoured to be with them. And I've been with them for 1.5 years now, and I love everything that I do. Giving back to the Australian community and helping people is very rewarding. I'm very proud to be Australian and proud to be able to contribute to our society. And what I believe is that to be able to find yourself, you need to lose yourself in the service of others.
I'm Hussein Baba. I'm based in the beautiful coastal city of Gold Coast in Queensland. I wear several hats. I'm a businessman. I'm the Secretary of the Islamic Society of the Gold Coast. I'm the founder of Multicultural Social Network, and also I host several shows. Listen to the sizzling sound. I'm originally from Hong Kong of Sri Lankan heritage. About 25 years ago, my wife came to Gold Coast to further study. She did the MBA at the Griffith University, and after graduation, we decided to migrate to this beautiful country, especially Gold Coast. Australia is a vibrant and a beautiful country, and I feel blessed to be here. It is also a multicultural country with different cultural diversities. In Gold Coast, I interact with various multicultural organizations and interfaith organizations. Through the Multicultural Social Network, without any government support, we were able to serve the needy members in our Gold Coast community. In 2020, we supported about 200 international students who were stranded in the Gold Coast due to COVID. We provided them with weekly food hampers and warm meals. And we have been arranging warm meals for the homeless. We take care of about 150 homeless members as well as about 60 needy members who happen to be the victims of domestic violence. and these are done on a weekly basis. I am blessed that my children are also volunteering in this program, so I'm very pleased that we are able to help our community, especially our needy members. On Australia Day, we celebrate our multicultural nation, its achievement and its people. We reflect on our history, its highs and lows. We respect each other's culture, beliefs, and their stories. And my motto is, no matter where you come from, what language you speak, what your religious beliefs are, we are all brothers and sisters in humanity. So we should extend love and be compassionate to each other. Thank you, Australia.
My name is Anna. I came to Australia when I was 9 years old with my parents. 15 years ago, I was at a women's conference, and one of the speakers was sharing how she was at the airport, and when she was at the airport, she found these missing children's of posters all over the airport, and she made some inquiries and found they were being human trafficked. So when she shared that at this women's conference that I was at, it really, moved, touched, and inspired me. And because, I've got 3 degrees and I've traveled the world, and it made me shocked that this was happening in the 21st century. So I wanted to use my skills and experience to contribute in ending human trafficking and modern slavery. I volunteered for a couple of charities for over 4 years, and I saw the need to create Freedom for Humanity as a not-for-profit organisation. I partner with Anti-Slavery Australia. They do free legal services for victims of modern slavery in Australia, and nobody knew that. So we were able to do a gala ball to create awareness, and I had former Senator Darian Hinch, and he was my guest speaker as well on the night. We hosted a gala ball for another charity called A21, and we raised $36,000. And the money that we raised, we helped them to set up an office in Cambodia. So they've already got an office in Thailand, and so that was a big achievement for me. I celebrate Australia Day with my friends. We go to the beach and have dinner, and because I love Australia, and I wouldn't be where I am unless I grew up here.
The final theme word is celebrate, and there's a reason this word comes after reflect and respect. It's because only after we have reflected on our own experiences and the experiences of others, and after we have a posture of respect towards all people, are we able to truly celebrate what makes us all part of the story.
Happening right now are citizenship ceremonies where people are welcomed officially as citizens of Australia. We have the Australians of the Year ceremony, where we celebrate the hard and selfless work that members of our society have done. And we also celebrate with our friends and families over a snag on the barbie.
My name is Alexis Katombe. I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I came to Australia in 2013. When I came to Australia, it's very hard to get jobs. I was linked at the Asylum Seeker Center as I was looking for work. I had a case manager there helping me to get employment. And I was lucky enough that a couple, the Davies, I call them, they come across my resume at the Asylum Seekers Center in Newtown, and they gave me a call. That's when I started a professional career here in Australia. Currently, I'm working as an advisor at Career Seekers, so again, helping newly arrived refugees and asylum seekers to Australia to restart their professional careers here in Australia. So an example that I can pick up would be that of Ghazwan. Ghazwan is originally from Iraq. He came to Australia in 2016, and he has great experience. Previously in Iraq, he got a bachelor degree in electrical engineering, and he has over 15 years as an electrical engineer back in Iraq. And then when he came to Australia, Ghazwan struggled to restart his professional career here in Australia. So every time he was submitting his applications for some big companies here in Australia, he was pushed back. And then the reasons were, you don't have any local experience, you don't have any local reference, you've never worked in Australia as an electrical engineer, then we can't help you. So what I did with Ghazwan obviously was to look at his CV, try to understand his full work experience back in Iraq, and then translate it well in a comprehensible English by an Australian employer. So he went for an interview. The employer was impressed, so he secured an internship with one of our employment partners, and is currently working there. So that's one example of people that I actually support here in Australia in terms of restarting their professional careers. Having a day itself as Australia Day, that reminds all of us to be part of this whole community. We feel part of the Australian community, first of all, by loving our own culture and then sharing it with the wider community. So that's how myself, my wife, my kids, and my entire network as family and friends do enjoy the Australian community.
My name is Harry. I come from Vietnam, and I came here in 2013 after my graduation. So I came here for my education purposes. After graduate master degree in Sydney, I decided to work for some different industry, from retail to real estate. But after a while, when I explore Australia, and I see so much opportunity to work between two countries. That's why I decided to open my own business. It's named VA Choice Promotion. With this company, I support the Vietnamese business to enter, to explore, to invest, or to import-export product from Australia, and vice versa. I support the Australian business who want to expand their services or export the product to Vietnam market. And I see the relationship between Vietnamese and Australian government nowadays is like the best ever. Australian Day is a really special day where we realize that we are a part of Australian culture, and we are the part of what we are contributing to the Australian economy. And on the Australian Day, normally I bring my children to enjoy the event what the local government or the Sydney city organize, so that to help them to understand better what the value of Australia, what we can understand better about the Australian history, and what we can contribute better for not only Vietnamese community but the general community in Australia, and support the Vietnamese people in Australia as well.
Migrated from a war-torn Iraq back in 2005. I grew up here, came here at a very young age, did my high school at Fairfield High School, and while I was at school, I was always taking part into community initiatives that give back and contribute to this great country of ours, Australia. At the age of 15, I was a volunteer at an environmental committee with Fairfield City Council, I love the environment, and I care about our parks, our creeks, and we always want to see Australia green like we always do. So I took part in that committee at a very young age. I was the youngest person there. And since then I have volunteered for almost 20 organizations, both local and also around Sydney. I was the Young Citizen of the Year. I was awarded that because Fairfield City Council saw my contributions and saw what I've done in that city. So they decided to award me the Young Citizen of the Year. And a year after that, I was given the Australia Day Medal for my community work. I've done all sorts of things, from being a volunteer for a couple of days to being a coordinator with the Salvation Army for their Red Shield appeal. I've worked with charities. I love charity work because through these charities we are able to help the needy in our community. Most people remember me as a teacher because I was a teacher for 5.5 years. So I taught English to speakers of other languages, which was a very rewarding career for me because I was able to make the journey of so many migrants to Australia easier. A day like Australia Day reminds us that we all came from all walks of life to this new land. We have to protect it, we have to look after it, and thanks God that I was able to feel like I'm blessed that I'm Australian, I'm blessed to come to this land.
So from My Community Voice, we want to wish you a happy Australia Day.
Remember to reflect, respect and celebrate our wonderful nation. I'm Polly Hazelton.
And I'm Emily Anderson.
Thanks for watching.
The story of Australia
is the story of me.
It's the story of you.
It's a story of we.
In parts, it is painful.
In parts, it is raw.
In others, it's beautiful.
Inspiring, great awe.
It tells of many people from far and wide.
And those who've been here
since the beginning of time.
It brings us together
and tears us apart.
We all have our views.
So where do we start?
By listening to each other.
And sharing our part.
We're all part of the story. Australia Day.